Hi, it's Wasabi, welcome back to the channel. Got a battle on the Mountain View map and we've got FadingNeptune. He's a former community contributor, so we'll put his channels in the links below. Anyway, he's in the T67 Tier 5 US tank destroyer. Commonly used by seal clubbers, so we'll see. There he goes, and he's loaded for bear, so he's got a full load of premium ammunition with a couple of extra HE shells, and he's using food. So you can see he's not running binocs. Let's get into his view here. So, but he would be running coated optics, I would think, to make his view range as good as possible. And certainly at this tier, you can sort of max out the view range to basically overcome camo and that sort of thing. In case he's basically come to this location again to spot because no one else has, and just checking it out. And just waiting to see if he gets some support, or in fact if anyone else spots anything. So you can see also this is a game on the ANZ server. Now how do we know that? Because you can see there's AI players. They're the ones with the colon in front and at the end of their names. So let's have a look there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 players on each side are AI players, and the rest, of course, are human players. We hope they are. So the key aim when you're playing on the ANZ server with these AI players is to try and kill all the human players first, or at least make sure they've got as little influence on the outcome as possible. That doesn't mean you can't take advantage of the bots, but they are obviously a bit slower to react, but that doesn't mean they can't punish you. Sometimes they're known to fire premium rounds themselves, so don't feel bad about shooting them with such. Now this 40 that he destroyed was one of the human players, and now he's just killed a bot as well. And I just lost one of their T67s there as well. So anyway, 2 kills so far to Fading. And he's just obviously wants to conserve his hit points to try and stay in the game as long as possible. But I mean, he knows there's another T67 enemy one up ahead that got rid of his fellow T67. So he's not going to push out now, certainly not in this position, to try and tackle those tanks down below with that. But he will test again. Am I getting lit? Fires, and yes, he does get lit. So knows that T67 is still lying in wait. Game 5-5 at the moment. 5-6. So it's going backwards and forwards a little bit. So he's just firing some blind shots up there to try and discourage the enemy T67, and looks like he's going to relocate. The T67, fairly mobile tank destroyer, but like most tank destroyers, got a slow traverse on the turret, so it's not great in brawling unless you've got first fire option. Anyway, just assessing the minimap, he's decided to come back, as you can see the concentration of tanks coming up the one line. There's really only an M8A1 there, which is probably one of the AI players. Yes, it is. So yeah, don't expect that tank to last very long. And someone's suggesting that the KB220-2, which is one of the best premium tanks of this tier, by the way. You can see some of my videos on it, completing heavy tank missions. is not pulling his weight. So we'll just have a look at the end to see if that's a true statement or not. Anyway, you can see Fading's basically using the Hetz's vision to spot the tanks coming up the line. In fact, here they come. And hoping that they only come up this one direction. Alright, now take out the dangerous tanks first. Firstly, the Churchill 3 is also one of the most dangerous tanks at this tier. Very high rate of fire and pretty good armour, and particularly when you've got novice players who don't really know the armour layout, can stay in the game pretty well. And I've seen some very high damage totals done by Churchill 3s, so upwards of 3,000 hit points of damage in a game, but here he's got full. Tony's just tracked that Valentine to make sure that he can't get a gun bearing on him. Tracks him again, won't get his repair kit this time and gets the kill. And puts another shot in. Now it's got a BDR down below. Also a fairly dangerous tank just because of the alpha. Not that long, short of reload, but definitely gunners if it's got the big gun. And you can see that player's got one mark of excellence on his barrel. So he doesn't want to really get in the way of the gun, and he doesn't give him a chance to fire, so gets another kill. That's 5 kills to Fading. And they're 3 tanks down, and they're still in the game, but don't have a lot of hit points to play with. But this end of the tiering, yeah, hit points aren't always that important as long as you can keep your gun in the game and use your vision. Then here we go. Gets a kill on another AI player. And another one, so up to 7 already, so he's already top gun. Now the M10 will be a real player and also a pretty dangerous tank in terms of the DPM and the accuracy of the gun, but even though he's lit, he's managed to dodge any damage, and you can see just the DPM output from the T67 just demolished that M10. So that's 8 kills to Fading, so he's now into a Radley Walters medal. And he's just indicating to the KV220, who's nicely parked at the back there, that he really does need some backup, particularly against the KV1. He's not going to outlast the KV1, so he just keeps him lit. And luckily he didn't get spotted that time. But the unknown is there's still the T67 out there, so he doesn't really want to hang off the edge and shoot at this. Oh, no, okay, here we go, they're both spotted now, so get rid of whichever tank you can the fastest. So just pumping shots into the KV1 who's not facing his way, so pretty much easy picking. Oh no, there's the gun. Stay out of the way, go to the engine deck. No, that bounced. Try the top of the deck. Right, going through the side, no problem. One more kill and that gets rid of the KV1. Now it's just the T67 and he's still full health. Locks in auto, one more shot and he's got the kill. And that's the end of the game. 10 kills to FadingNeptune. That is a Pools medal. That was a pretty rapid fire game there, but making the most of his DPM and vision. So ended up with 10 kills and got obviously the top gun and high caliber awards for the most damage, 3.5k of damage, and of course the Pools medal for getting at least 10 kills. So how do we do against the team? 1650 base experience. That's yeah, excellent EXP there, and the BDR on his side, which we didn't really see much of, did 1650, and the rest of all didn't do a whole lot. But that's basically then how you get the most out of the game. If your team doesn't do well, you've just got to perform better than the rest of your team and outperform the enemy team, of course. So you don't often get 10 kills in a game unless your team is basically pretty inadequate, I think is the word to use. On the enemy side, the Churchill 3, as we said, pretty much one of the most dangerous tanks on you can come up against this tier. Did 1280. The BDR that he got rid of also pretty quickly, 1643. The T67 did 1600 and the KV1 did 1500. So you can see those four tanks did all pretty well, doing well above their hit points, which is what you want to get, and a bit unfortunate for them. Where did that KV220 finish up? Well, with a whole 100 hit points of damage, and not very well. So certainly finished better in EXP than some of his team, but yeah, that's well underperforming in that tank. So not the sort of player you want to see on your team, but again, certainly helped Fading get the level that he did. So he fired 47 shots, 42 hit, so he would have got a few blind shots in there, 36 those penetrated, shooting over distance, but you can see every vehicle that he damaged, he ended up destroying, so excellent output there. But here's the killer, 131,000 on premium rounds, and it's a tech tree tank, so no special bonuses there. He did have some personal reserves running to help offset it, but it cost him 70k, but I think he was happy with the result. Anyway, great game there from Fading. But if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please consider doing so. It's Christmas after all. We'll have more great content to follow, and thanks for watching.